Development brings benefits. There's no question that natural resources are economically productive in a variety of ways. Natural resources are widely valuable in domestic and international markets. Boosting the economy provides a number of benefits to societies. According to Canada's Office of Foreign Affairs, Trade and Development, the management of resources in developing countries is an important driver of economic growth. It creates jobs and provides revenue to deliver services. In 2011, exports of oil and minerals from Africa and Asia and Central and South America were worth over $1.4 trillion. DeLongo too explains, economic growth, social and economic problems have become far less of a burden. A rich economy is one in which people can decide to consume more, lower tax rates, increase the scope of public education, take better care of the environment, strengthen national defense, or accomplish any other goal they might choose. Faster economic growth empowers the future. Contention 2. Developing countries should profit from their resources rather than them being exploited. According to Catholic Online News, the nation of Sierra Leone has fallen prey to others who have wished to strip its land. 9 years ago, when the nation was in a civil war, interlopers sought to pillage Sierra Leone's diamond mines. Now, Beni, a unique type of wood, is being ruthlessly pillaged from the country. Chinese companies lead the pack in deforestation. If the indigenous people were able to team with international agencies to extract valuable resources rather than being painlessly exploited by other nations, there would be wide-ranging benefits. Paul Coyer writes, the value of natural assets helps a political system function. The better the system, the more able society is to harness its natural assets. Affirming the resolution is a radical and impossible decision because we know that any resource extraction whatsoever causes pollution. Through open communication and respect for our surroundings, we can harvest natural resources in a justifiable way. Therefore, we must negate the resolution. Now I'll move on to my opponent's case. First, you can't look to his first observation about how it has to be specifically every example, whether it conflicts with environmental protection, because that would basically throw out all of his arguments about economic conditions and sustainable growth, things like that. Moving on to his value premise, I can agree to this so you can extend both across the flow. His value criterion of minimizing neo-imperialism, like the negative side isn't going to be inherently bad and neo-imperialistic. Like these people having the right to fish and farm on their own land is still a form of resource extraction. That's exactly what my opponent is advocating for there. These bad statistics he's talking about, that's unfortunate, but I'll address those more in his case as well. Now moving on to his subpoint A, he talks about how there's going to be more taxes and there's poverty raising, and these people are living in remote villages. But the fact is that poverty is not going to improve if the country just remains a poor country. Providing a developing country with a strong resource industry base is going to set the stage for more development, and namely employment, economic growth, political options, better environmental options, because we'll have the revenue to accomplish all these things. These countries otherwise won't have any revenue to do the things they want. Now his subpoint B, he says there's no sustainable growth, and his subpoint C, he says that the harms are negating any kind of growth, but this isn't resource extraction itself is causing these harms, it's how these companies are doing it. As Pat Seva and Royne write, being the second largest exporter of natural gas and the fifth largest of oil, Norway is one of the richest world economies. Botswana produces 29% of the world's diamonds and is one of the fastest growing countries. So these countries are experiencing more development and more growth because they have resource extraction. Pillaging isn't going to get good results, it's going to negate growth, but these good ways are going to make it better. And he has a subpoint D about violence. I guess it's talking about how natural resources cause violence. But as Lertzman 09 writes, even in cases where natural resource grievances appear to be the central to conflict dynamics, most of the time the researchers' attention may be focused on the processes, may usefully be focused on the processes by which these grievances arrive, but however, I'm reading this all wrong. Never mind, I'm out of time. Well, it was basically saying that usually the conflict was already there before the mines arrived.